Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Whoop whoop. Grand final time. Masters Clash Qualifier. We are in a best of 5 series, and our first map is Battlefield of Eternity. On the left side, Galnegulnar on Malfurion for the Vikings, Berghult on Johanna, Skog on Hanzo, Max Passion on ETC, and Gia on Lemming. On the right side of the map, Wit on Garrosh, we have Dino on Greymane, X-Ray on Ana, Ultralisk on Medivh, and Blade on Imperius. A little bit of Medivh action in today's game, with an ETC on the side lane. Johanna is the main tank, and ETC can then stage dive in or do whatever his heart desires in those upcoming fights. Also, at the same time, what we have to watch out for is, of course, that Garrosh flip. Wit already looking to see if he can maybe get an angle down here at the bottom onto someone. But let's have a little bit of a look-see. First of all, what's also interesting, and of course an adjustment, is that on level 1 we have block party for ETC. So this is of course a map where with the two lanes being far apart, you have mostly a difficult time getting globe talents stacked. Doesn't mean that it's impossible, it definitely isn't. There's a lot of players that will still go into globe talent, but considering that there's Greymane on the other side, you're a bit more worried about those auto attacks. And in this case it also helps on the one-on-one lane a little bit. So therefore an adjustment for ETC with his level 1 choice. This best of 5 series here is of course going to determine one of the teams who makes it into the playoffs. It is the grand final, so whoever wins here takes it. By the way, it's kind of funny to me lately, like I had over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, I had now people on YouTube in the comments. I love the YouTube comment section. It's always, it's just, it's a treasure trove. So it's like, every single video of this guy is a grand final. What's going on here? And it's just always delightful. I was like, yeah, thank you. You are correct. I cast a shit ton of tournaments. And as it happens, tournaments tend to have a grand final. So, yeah, nicely done. The complaints are always precious. It's great. Anyways, with this said, we have currently our little setup down here. Dino jumping in. Also, since we're talking about YouTube, everybody that is currently watching this on YouTube might be happy to hear that the spoiler protection actually is back. As I said, the ad revenue on the channel took a deep dive after I introduced the spoiler protection. So I had to tie it to a Patreon goal. And as it happens, we actually hit that goal. So the next milestone on Patreon is me bringing the interview series back that I had during HGC times for a couple of weeks. And if people, of course, want to support my work here and the commentary and keep the esports coverage here alive, not only for Heroes, but also Warcraft and maybe future titles, they can check that out at patreon.com/Khaldor. Always appreciate it. So check it out. Thanks a lot. And, well, with that, let's focus a bit more on what's happening over here. Traditional setup, you often see this. A team makes it into the camp. The other team decides that they don't want to fight that fight and instead rotate one of their heroes towards the solo lane and then try and take the second camp. Which in this case hasn't really worked out that way though for the Vikings. So they haven't taken that camp, which means that it's still up for grabs and could theoretically be taken by Feel the Heat here. So that's a big thing. And over here comes our little setup with Raven Familiar, the Portal Mastery. Portaling right on top of them, trying to drop them. Hanzo, of course, can Hanzo that Immortal. Generally speaking, the setup that we have on the side of the Vikings is really good for the Immortal damage. Lemming is fantastic in those standoffs where every team is just trying to defend while poking a bit from afar. And then you have Hanzo, who by the way got stunned with the Immortal stun here. No! Who also is fantastic, of course, against the Immortal. So off we go with this. Halftime show is nearly reached, but both teams are very eager to grab it. And one of the heroes that is also packing a punch is, of course, Dino's Greymane, who in walking form is just chucking the hit points out of that thing. Not bad. Now, as the halftime show has already been reached, camps are currently cleared, top side, nearly taken. ETC, side laner in this case, is making his play, but everybody starts to center around the red team's Immortal, with the exception of Greymane, who's just chucking away one hit after another in the attempt to secure the first one for them. But Wit is already low, Blade is also on the run, and this doesn't really look all that great for Feel the Heat. They're starting to struggle there a lot more. Dino is still working it, but that's the end of Immortal number 1. Already taken, a little bit of an assist here though. Some of the health globes are attempted to be stolen away. Not quite. Wit, little bit in trouble. But Ana is there with a continuous pew, 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 pew. And X-Ray keeps the boys and girls alive. So, As the Immortal travels topside, this is of course where you are trying to take at least the wall down. Normally with the heavy push you can aim for the fort too. That was a nice flip though. Might not end with him. Actually, it's gonna end with him dying. Yep. The burger is eaten. Berkult goes down, so Johanna, first blood in the game, and the immediate attack into the backline with an attempt to take Hanzo down. He's eliminated too. Yeah, Portals, baby. And look at that. Gia's also eliminated. Had level 7, but he didn't actually get the Calamity in time. Not that it would have made a big difference or anything. But that was a really nice attack. All of a sudden, Greymane takes 3 heroes down. And Dino proves himself on the big bad wolf outside of his usual Zeratul performance. Nicely done. That's the beauty of having Medivh in your lineup. If you have a good Medivh and you have nice coordination around it, you can just portal into the opponent's backline, get a kill there. But now they jump all the way up towards the top. An attempt to go for Malfurion. The old geezer with the green beard is in trouble. And they actually let him go. Instead, focusing on the camp, trying to see if they can get another kill. Ultraliska's there. Oh, nearly a kill against Johanna. Iron Skin helps her to get out. Another stun against Galdagulnar puts him into a really awkward spot. And he dies. Greymane jumps in too, but that's 4 kills against 0 now. And ladies and gentlemen, feel the heat with some juicy plays here and some very aggressive setups. As they now move down to the bottom of the map. Trying to take ETC down. Yeah. Where's the slide? There it is. Ah, nicely done by Wit. That was perfect. The Indomitable perfectly used here. Playing around the power slide. And that was really, really well done. So good kill opportunity. They take it. And that's the end of ETC. Now we have 5 kills against 0. And the Vikings are suffering at this point. Not bad, Fred. Down to the bottom. Camp's taken again. Keep in mind that the first objective was actually lost by Feel the Heat, despite the fact that they now lead with 5 kills and with nearly a level. In the early game, they don't really took a beating, but they've definitely had a couple of setbacks there on the first objective. Now that they're so close on hitting level 10, it should be a given that they are claiming objective number 2, though, unless something horrible happens. If Gia pops off and Li Ming gets a bit of reset value, there's a chance that the blue team takes it after all. But there they are already. And here's level 10. A bit of a race attempt, but now the ley line is ready. Also, Medivh is sitting at 24 stacks on his baseline. We have Wrath taken for Imperius. That's a nice and aggressive setup. Nearly a stun into an Immortal stun. That would have been fantastic for them. Greymane hasn't even taken his talent yet. Could still go for the bullet if he wanted to. The taunt and the follow-up stun. And Max Passion is in max trouble and is gonna die. There's the delivery system. Yep, Imperius. He was a little bit tired of his job as an Archangel, so he took a job at Uber Eats. And now he just delivers kills into the opponent, into the team's hands. In this case, it was a bit of a beefy situation, but ETC could not get away. So 6 kills against 0, and an easy Immortal win. And that's a big boy. That's a huge shield that that bad boy has, 80% roughly. So let's have a little bit of a look-see if they can... I mean, they can take that fort down. What am I saying? There's no level 10 yet on the blue team. It's a trap! It's a trap! Well, in this case, it's just buying a little bit of time. Every second counts. Yep, there we have it. Level 10. Arrow, Mosh Pit. That's a lot of CC, guys. Arrow, Mosh Pit, Blessed Shield, Twilight Dream. They get a lot of this. But yeah, Wit is already attempting to flank, and the blue team is aware of it. So they need to be careful, and that actually zones them away from the fort, which is half the battle. You want them away from the fort so that you get an easy hit in there, and they can take it down. So structurally speaking, Feel the Heat is now taking the lead too. Okay. Portal time. As the Immortal is still being defended, they're going down to the bottom of the map to take the wall down, which they can easily do here. Blade straight into the tower, just as they're trying to break through the wall for him. So far, so good. The rest of the team is obviously following it up, but that also means they have to abandon the top lane or leave it to Hanzo to defend the Immortal, which he now did. When we look at the damage output, Greymane with another bullet brings himself now to 18,000, nearly 19,000 damage. But Hanzo is still heavily ahead of everybody. 20,000 damage. I mean, he's doubling the damage output of any other hero on his team's side. Li Ming has less than Johanna so far. Not really the best combos from Gia just yet. He was a bit in a bit weird spot. Didn't really have a big battle, honestly, after he hit Calamity in his level 10. So now that both of those talents are in, he is going to have a much better stand in those team fights and will very likely start to not necessarily take a lead over Hanzo. That's always pretty tricky, but to at least improve his own damage numbers compared to the rest of the team. Ignoring Hanzo for a second. So, already, we have the camp claimed bot side, which is not only worth experience, but also will push the lane out further. With 6 kills against 0, there's another chance. Feel the heat right now. Massively ahead. Get level 13 and you have another talent advantage over your opponent, which is, of course, pretty fantastic. Yeah, Blade actually trying to go for the ult here. That didn't work out. That's a big cooldown that just got burned. And Medivh is topside. He's going to be totally fine here. But also keep in mind that he's sitting at 28 stacks, so he hasn't completed his quest talent yet. Level 13. That's a big spike for them. And it happens around the Immortal again. So, one more time, we're going to have an advantage for the red team as they're fighting for the next objective here. And with that, amongst other things, we also have the smelling salts now, which is actually pretty important considering what we have on the other side. We talked about the CCs that came in after the heroic abilities were taken. And of course, that's not the only one. So that talent is going to be pretty impactful. Now, down to the bottom of the map, they're already looking to defend the camp before the Immortal fight even starts up. Nobody is really fighting for it just yet. But here comes the blue team, the Vikings, with an attempt to take it. To take the fight, despite the fact that they're still short of talent, but they're only half a level behind. But one camp has been taken down. There's the aggressive portal, as they're starting to jump in and keep that top lane in mind. The top shaman camp is still doing work. And therefore, if it's left alone to its own devices, that will take that wall in the keep. So they have to actually fall back. And that should really trigger the attack here from the red team. Leyline, baby! And they're trying to go for Malfurion. Oh, mosh pit? Nah, no mosh pit here. Stun into stun, nano boosted Imperius, but Malfurion is dead already. Greymane is just chunking away in an attempt to drop the second target, but the Burger gets away. That's some very resilient food group. Blade, then again, is also in trouble. Gets a shield, gets a portal, and is out. Ah, Medivh always in. Blizzard gave us level 20 to inform us that Medivh cheats, and everybody was just like, are you fucking kidding? We knew that already. Have you seen that hero? So yeah, Medivh doing work, and the camp topside is doing the same thing. Even gets a little bit of catapult assistance to drop the hit points of the keep. So a big lead now on that top lane for Feel the Heat, and they have now won the halftime show too. So, yep, nicely done. Can they get the whole thing? There's not a single kill yet for the blue team. They haven't gotten one. The Vikings, they need to step it up here. They need to come in, get one of the longboats out, and just go for the aggression instead. We have Max Passions thrown around. Yeah, portal time. They put a lot of pressure onto him. He's not the only one, by the way. Jojo might be in trouble too. And talking about trouble, top lane catapults are still pushing, which means that the keep is going to be under attack soon again. Leyline, but this time not really with a follow-up. Nano boosted Medivh. Yeah, quest completed, but party time. Not for long though. ETC wants to party, and you know he wants to party hard, but yep, there's no fun allowed, so apparently Feel the Heat is German. We have ETC, Johanna, and Malfurion all down, and there's the kill against Hanzo. Yeah, once that the mosh pit was out and the Vikings wanted to have some fun, Feel the Heat got really aggressive and like, fun? We're not gonna have fun here! Nine. So they just killed everybody. As the Germans do. I mean, you know how it goes. So now that we have level 16 and another Immortal one, we're looking at 11 kills against 0. I mean, oh boy. Honestly, I had the Vikings pegged as the favorite heading into this. Feel the Heat isn't bad by any means, I mean, don't get me wrong, but the Vikings, they were on a tear the last, I want to say, 10 days. Played multiple matches there, and they were just like breaking opponents. It was incredible. They stepped it up massively. But now it's a very different story. Here comes the kill against ETC, and that's the dozen completed. A dozen kills against 0. Make it 13. Holy shit. They are just brutalizing the blue team. Feel the Heat. They're going through that bot lane like hot butter through cheese. And there is just no way for the Vikings to stop the bleeding, it seems. The entire wall is already taken down. Now that they're jumping in to take the keeper part, I don't think anybody can save them. They're trying to make a play over here. They get another kill. I mean, what is this? Quick match. X-Ray is nearly dead, but actually survives. Gets flipped around a bit too. Nobody wants to die here, of course. I mean, if you can pull off the perfect game, then hell yeah, let's go for it. So now we have 14 kills against 0. The keep is down. Li Ming, yeah, she was able to escape, but for how long, that's the question. Gia is trying to get some damage in. It's currently sitting at 25,000. The Immortal is barreling away at the core. Is anybody going to die on the red team side? That's the big question right now. Is there going to be a feeder, or are they going to be able to take it without even suffering a single death? That's the big question now. And here comes the arrow. Straight red screaming. Party time. And Max Passion low. And he's not the only one. The core is low too. And this, ladies, is going to be the end of it, isn't it? Yeah, of course. 20%. Unstoppable right here. Down goes Hanzo. And this is game number 1. The lead for Feel the Heat in the best of 5 series at the Masters Clash Qualifier Grand Final. Game number 2, ladies. It's a bit of an ass-kicking that we saw in game number 1. Oh boy, a best of 5 grand final here with Feel the Heat in the lead against the Vikings. Alrighty, so a bit of a different setup. And Deathwing made it through the draft. What? What's happening here? That's actually kind of insane. Deathwing usually insta-banned on the European side for good reason. So far the hero, I don't really think he has lost a game yet in Europe. Galgulnar Malfurion for the Vikings. We have Gion Jaina, Burger, aka Backhold on Garrosh, Skog on Hanzo, and Max Passion on Leoric. And over to the right side, Wit on Johanna, Rega, played by X-Ray, Dino and Greymane again, Blade on Deathwing, and Ultralisk on Samuro. Yeah, it's actually, I mean, usually when you have Deathwing, he's these days played, I don't want to say nearly exclusively, but mainly in an offlane position. Now that you have Samuro in the mix-up, you can change it. That's, by the way, a skin color. Look at that tint. Look at that skin. That's what we're talking about when we talk about Deathwing. Glorious. Golden plating. I mean, the elitism is written in its face right there. Definitely not one of the deplorables. So that is the Deathwing that we need. But at the same time, if you just change that tint, then he looks like a plucked chicken. I've been saying this over and over again, but at least Blade, he knows how to write in the game and style. So that's exactly what we get here. So, with that currently said, we have still a little bit of a redeemable quality on the Viking side, of course. Bit of a different build than we traditionally see on Deathwing, by the way, now too, with the Draconic Might on level 1. So not the normal setup that we have in Europe with Deathwing plays. But I'm actually a little bit weirded out by what the red team got in their draft. I mean, there's a lot of heroes that are just insane when it comes to this map. You have Johanna for the Shrine, you have the Lightning Shield of Rhaegar, you have Deathwing behind it, which is traditionally banned out. You have Greymane. Samuro is a bit of an odd flavor, but again, as a macro element in the game, he is pretty fantastic. And I don't really think that what the Vikings got is that crazy. Don't get me wrong, all of those heroes are great. There's a lot of strong heroes for the map. Hanzo is fantastic. Leo has a lot of wave clear. He's incredibly powerful here too. Oftentimes gets banned as well. Then you have Jaina. So it's a really, really good setup that the blue team has. But we also have incredible heroes on the red team side. So it's definitely is a bit of an interesting touch that we currently have by those boys and girls. So, well, as we have our first objective at the bottom of the map, this is where a lot of the action already centers on. Mostly because the camps are here too, of course. But still, there are the 2 shaman camps, so let's not forget about those. They will be impactful and really important once the first objective gets announced. Simply because they're the other side of the map. Strangling Vines for Malfurion already in. And, well, top side, that's where we currently have Max Passion rushing around too. Ultralisk is still holding on the lane. Can of course also move back. Camps are, as expected, now taken. At least on level 4, still Infernos. So, okay. Here we go. Again, little bit of a different setup here for Deathwing on Blade side this time than what we traditionally see on the European side in terms of the build. But okay, either way, as we're now heading straight into that, let's have our first objective, show us the way, is Feel the Heat just going to continue where they left off in game number 1, or will we have a blue team that starts to fight back into this series? It's a best of 5, so just like brain farting a little bit on the first map isn't really a big problem. And they just never got a foothold there, and it spiraled out of their control a bit. But now they have to fight for the first objective there. Okay. There's our first setup. Oh, careful. He's nearly down. Still our 2 off-laners are busy on the mid lane. And here comes the setup straight on the shrine. And with Johanna we have actually the cooldown reduction. Deathwing comes in, drops in, I should say. And they're taking control of the shrine immediately. Okay. There's a little bit of a setup attempt. Molten Flame to zone them out, but that's the lead now on the shrine for the red team as they are consistently establishing themselves a position on that thing. Samuro is still looking for a setup here. Yeah, that Molten Flame does actually a lot of work all of a sudden. Samuro is still in, and guys, I don't know, but the blue team, as expected, is having trouble to stay on the spot here. They need a kill, and they need it quickly. They need some lockdown. Maybe a good flip from him to do the trick. Instead, they just go for the kill, and Johanna is down. 38, and that should be the 40, but Greymane is dead too. 38 to 23, Molten Flame, 39. And, yep, no, maybe. Take one. Are you kidding me? He couldn't get the hit, and they lose it. What the fuck? And they lose 2 heroes because of it. They were at 39, and because of the slow auto attack, Deathwing actually dies. Holy shit. Okay, that's crazy. That is legitimately crazy. How does that happen? They had 39 to 23 or something, and then because all of the AoE for the Vikings and because some of their heroes were already dead, they didn't have a chance anymore. God, that was unlucky. Oh my god. And Samuro coming in saying like, boys, I'll save it, and then he dies too. That's 5 kills against 0, and that's a 4 down. What a lead all of a sudden for the blue team. Holy shit, they are ahead. That is a problem, and a big one. I still can't believe that just happened. I mean, there was literally like one minion where he just needs a hit. It's like, it doesn't matter what he does. An auto attack, anything that he connects kills that thing. And he couldn't get it because of the animation wind-up. Now we have the counter kills though. Yes, Hanzo and Malfurion are both eliminated. So far, so good. So they're definitely fighting back into it. Honestly, after I saw the 5 kills and the fort fall, I was like, are we going to see the exact reverse of map 1? Are they just going to snowball it from here on out because they just got such a massive lead on it? But as it happens, not quite. There is still a bit of fighting spirit left on the Feel the Heat side. Okay, but level 10 abilities are of course now in, which means that you want to be a bit more careful until you have your own heroics. Now we have the arrow. Always the question when you see Hanzo go for the ult, do we see the narrowly missed ulti? Or do we see the European arrow being thrown out on point, on target? Ah, that's a European arrow right there. And it's nearly a kill. Could be still a kill. Dino, look at that. 2nd kill against him. Yeah, he's down again, and the entire Wolf Pact has been decimated, as we have Rhaegar also killed. So, yeah, both of our beasts are down. The only one that has still survived. Did he just pick Bloodlust? Okay, did he fat finger that? I mean, I'm honestly asking myself if he just fat fingered that thing. Bloodlust for Rhaegar. That's interesting. Falling Sword, Bloodlust, and Greymane. Okay, they're going for the explosive style. I mean, Deathwing doesn't give a shit either way, right? But holy hell, I am kind of interested to see how this is going to go now. I neither expected Bloodlust nor did I expect Falling Sword here. If you have the Anduin combo and you go for Falling Sword but Light Bomb, that's a bit of a different story. If you hit 20, then of course Falling Sword is great, then you can just hop around like a bunny. But Bloodlust is a bit of a memey setup. I can't even remember when I've seen Bloodlust taken in a serious game in Europe. So I'm not 100% certain if that was a fat finger of that or if that was actually intentional. But I mean, either way, At this point, it's all about the second shrine. They just got a kill, so that's good. Leo is going to come back in time for the next fight. No problem whatsoever. You can see Max Passion already up at the top, so that's fine. But off we go. Next shrine is up. Blue team is also looking for a potential kill. And in we go. I mean, for the second map in a grand final, picking those ults is a bit ballsy, to be quite frank. Doesn't mean that it can't work. If you go in and you grab those kills quickly, then hell, by all means. So, yep, there we go. A little bit of a good position, first of all, when it starts up for the blue team as they take again the lead. Ultralisk is already looking for the flank, but doesn't get it here. Here comes Deathwing as they jump in, falling sword into the back line for the zone out. Everybody zoned out, they got the position. Perfect setup for Deathwing here, the choke point, but still a kill against not only Samuro, but also Johanna. And yeah, I don't know, but without Ancestral Healing, you can't get anything done here. That was not the fight where you want to use Bloodlust either. So that didn't do jack shit. Yeah, blue team is gonna sit there now and is like, well, that's it. 1 good and 2, all we needed. So now we have 2 kills, we get the next objective, and that very likely is going to give us the fort in the middle of the map. So yeah, there we go. Okay, and besides that, we now have... I mean, after his level 1 and his level 4, Deathwing going into Skyfall and now starting it up with the Wicked Inferno level 13 has pretty much gone back on the normal build setup. But the level 1 and the level 4 in Deathwing, as I said earlier, is usually a little bit different structured on the European side when it comes to builds. North America has a few variations out there, but over here usually not all that much. 13 versus 13, so I mean it's still a level lead for the Vikings, but it's not like it's an irredeemable position from Feel the Heat here. Can always come back into this. X-Ray on the other hand is really low, but he survives. Has actually used Bloodlust too, rushing out here as they get the kill against Hanzo. They're still trying to get a bit more. But can they? That's the bigger question. Malfurion was also moving away. Jaina, I don't think that they can get close enough. Maybe. Blade needs to be careful too. Just because you're a big-ass dragon doesn't mean that you can simply walk into the opponent's team and try to 1v4 them. That usually doesn't work quite that way. So, with this, the setup now down to the bottom of the map. Let's have a bit of a look at the damage output of 2. Samuro on 25,000. Top damage in the game, actually. Even more than Hanzo, even though it's just a little bit. On top of that, we have Deathwing on 22,000. Same as Greymane, I might add. Jaina isn't looking too bad here either. When it comes to wave clear, Deathwing with 64k, top notch. Top numbers right there. 9 kills against 4. And top side still the Samuro element. And Samuro just in general, if it hits the late game, can still make a big difference here. And as I said, let's not forget potential level 20 talents, where Johanna could just jump around with a cooldown reduction on 20 like a bunny in all of this. But right now, it seems like those fights are starting to spiral out of control or Feel the Heat a bit. At least in the last 2 battles, they were struggling there quite a lot. Now Samuro is doing his thing on the side lane, so that's actually good for them. Can they get a hit here? Good throw, okay. Garrosh saves himself. Talking about saving, up at the top to take the camp apart. But it's level 16 any second now. We never really got into a position in this game where a team had a massive talent advantage over the Shrine. And that's actually pretty good for both of them here. Now we have level 16 coming in for the Vikings, but that also means that Feel the Heat should have enough time to prepare for their own level 16 talent, unless they're getting forced into a fight that they don't want and then die. Oh, the entomb into the arrow. Bloodlust is in, but they don't have 16. Not sure if you really want to fight that fight. The wolf is jumping in as Tranquility gets used by Malfurion. And here comes the attack again. Blade. Yeah, he's already coming in, setting the stun up, or at least trying to. But they make it out. Everybody used the ult in this fight, so now all of the rogue abilities are on cooldown. But at the same time, nobody died, and we have nearly level 16 for Feel the Heat. Honestly, from their perspective, I call that a win. That was not a fight that they really wanted, and not dying and then being able to grab 16 is a big deal. Heading into the Executioner now, we have Conflagration again, plus also now the Fanaticism and the Rising Storm on 16 for Rega. So very heavily focused Lightning Shield build that we get from him. The next objective is up. Bit more extra damage against, yeah, Leo top side. Ultralisk is still totally fine here. But this is going to be a really telling objective now, because on the blue team side, there's still forts in play, plus fountains, which is making their life easier around this objective. Oh, Wit might have to use his ulti to jump out. Yeah, he needs to jump out. He needs to ult out. Ult or die. There we go. Ah, that's a cooldown that you won't have for that fight. And it's a problem. Again, if they lose, then it's likely going to be a keep that they will suffer. I gotta say that with those heroic choices that they had, they might have made their life a little bit harder than it needed to be. Okay, attacks are in. Position so far taken by the red team again. They have good tools for that, but the Entomb is out as well, and that didn't really do a whole lot. The previous Entombs were all spot on and really fantastic, but this one didn't do too much. And that narrowly missed, and now flies across continents. So all of a sudden, Feel the Heat is actually a solid position on this one. I have a really good one here. X-Ray is getting a lot of AoE in, so does Johanna. Here comes Deathwing again. Tranquility has been used. Ultralisk is looking for kills as well with Samuro. Molten Flame. Bullet is out. The Dino's going for it again. The taunt and Wit jumping out again. Not quite what that talent is for, but hey, he makes it out and they actually get the Punisher. Problem is that Dino dies again, and he's not the only one. Samuro is dead too, so this time the Vikings might not have been able to take the Punisher, but they were still able to get the kills. And that's actually worth quite a bit for them now, because that's an easy defense. That's an absolute easy defense on the objective. But it brings us closer to level 20, and then you have to ask yourself, of course, who is going to benefit from level 20 talents the most? And it's a bit tricky to say if we are honest about it, because you have Buried Alive. That's a game changer, a big one at that. But then on the other side, Samuro is going to be a little bit more impactful, of course. We have, for Greymane, some fantastic tools. Johanna with cooldown reduction, if she goes that way. Could, of course, also go for Shield, for example. So there's a couple of really impactful choices that could be made. You have the Windermere upgrade for Jaina, which is also insane. So there's a really huge amount of fantastic level 20 talents coming up. And of course, it's going to be a lot quicker for the Vikings since they now have a 1.5 level lead. And that actually is a margin that could prove to be difficult for Feel the Heat to fight against. Because this might end up in the situation that I talked about 1 or 2 minutes ago, where a team walks into the objective and just has a massive lead in talents, and a level 20 talent advantage is crazy. So that could be tricky. It's one of the reasons why right now Feel the Heat is actually thinking about being aggressive a lot more and trying to force the fight. But level 20 is here, and there's Buried Alive. Wintermute is in as well. Bullseye. And Titan's Might. Okay, Wit jumps out again. Samuro should be able to get away too. Yeah, so they are able to get out, but they have to soak 1.5 levels for the next objective. And oh boy, do I not think that they can do that. And the next objective spawns in the middle, where they've already lost their fort. So, ooh. Yeah, this is getting dicey. This is getting really tricky now. There's a little bit more free damage coming out, but look how they are trying to fight this. They are trying to force a fight. Oh, they get the kill against Berghult. Berghult down. That was great. That gave them a huge chunk of experience too. The question is, can they get more? Not so much, but if they can take a few structures, then maybe they have a chance here. That was actually quite nice that they are able to make that happen. That was really important. Not bad. He should be able to jump out. Yeah. Leo gets away. Leo is just not impressed. Leo is rarely impressed. He just always strides out right there. So, okay. Ultralisk is sitting up at the top. There's a bit of a hit coming as well. And Wit comes in. Bam. Another hit. Fort down. And the Shrine is activating. It's going to be 20 versus 20. Nicely done. Feel the Heat with that kill gave themselves not only some momentum, but control over the map, which allowed them to push the lanes out a lot more aggressively. Cross the map. And now they have level 20 talents in just a second. So they can fight against their opponent on the next objective. That's a cool second map, guys. We had a big lead for Feel the Heat after they just bodied the Vikings on map 1. But this is a much closer game. And there we go. Jojo with the cooldown reduction, the Heaven's Fury, Storm Shield, Hunter's Blunderbuss, Stood in the Fire, and the 3-bladed style. Off we go. 20 talents for the two teams. Bit more of a macro angle from Feel the Heat now with all those heroes and talents that they have. But what about the objective itself? Slight lead for field for the Vikings. And the back line, Gia gets attacked. Ultralisk is just hammering away here. One blade hit after another. Here comes Deathwing, and they're zoning them out completely. Gulnar with Tranquility very early, already getting used, but not really a problem. 4 feel the heat just yet. Of course, we also have the Bloodlust used. Here comes another jump, even more cooldown reduction. Big buried alive. Dino jumps in, gets thrown into the rest of the team, and gets eliminated. 12 kills against 5, and they have to back out once again. Yeah, it just feels that they are not able to take these fights, guys. Not quite sure what to say there. 12 kills against 5 is a pretty good indicator of you not being able to really play on eye level with your opponent in team fights. Okay, so now it's just a question of whether or not they are able to hold the keep. Top sides, the fort is not gonna fall, and this one's gonna hurt. This one's really going to hurt. Okay, everybody is starting to jump in. What is, by the way, already down. The keep is down, let's be honest. Without Greyman in particular, but especially since the wall has already fallen previously, the keep is just gone. Question is simply how much more can they get out of this, or are they just walking away from it afterwards and try and play it even safer? Damage output, 63,000 on Hanzo. I mean, in an ideal world, you want to look for a kill and then for core. And they're looking for that kill. Buried Alive is ready. Buried Alive could be used. If they just get the hit against anyone, they can. They're already jumping down here onto, well, Blade with his Deathwing. Punisher is still alive, but just for how much longer? Where's the Buried Alive when you need it? Yeah, well, they don't need it. They just get the kill against Jojo for free. Buried Alive is there, doesn't connect with anybody, but they still might get the kill against Ultralisk. He is low and makes it barely out. And the core has lost his shields. Core has lost his shields, and X-Ray is about to lose his life. Yep, there's a kill against the doggy. He's down, and I don't know what to say, guys. That's game. I mean, that should be game. They can take Blade down if they want to. Honestly, they're taking a bit more damage than I expected. Can they take the core here? They should be able to, if the catapult at least makes it in, but there's still 3 heroes defending. And with Samuro coming in from behind, that catapult has not taken onto the core yet, but the core is down to 65%. They're still poking away against that thing, but the catapult is heavily confused. Too many illusions there. Blade comes back down, core is at 45%, core is going down to 30, 20. Yeah, that's game. 10%, and that is a tie in the series. 1-1 in the best of 5 as the Vikings take the victory on Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3. The series is tied as we head into Alterac Pass, our 3rd map in the best of 5. On the left side, I always knew that the Vikings would pander to the audience again. Chen is being played by Max Passion. We have Backhult playing Garrosh, Gulnar on Oriel, and Skok on Jaina, and Gia on Vala. And over on the red team side, Feel the Heat with Wit on ETC, Ultralisk on Hanzo, Dino on Junkrat, Blade on Leoric, and X-Ray on Ana. Alrighty, let's have a look who takes the lead here. Is the Vikings set up good enough to allow them to pick a second map in a row, or are we gonna have Feel the Heat just barreling through them and claiming the lead once again? Well, with this one, we're starting to jump in right away. We have, as usual, the Eye of the Tiger on level 1. Also, multi-shot build for Vala. Theoretically, you can play arrow build here. Try and force those bosses a little bit quicker. And, yep, up to the top. There's where Blade is currently sitting. Right there. Trying to get the lane pushed out a bit. I mean, honestly, I don't really expect a lot of aggression here until we have roughly level 7 when the teams are making the play for the first objective. Usually before that you have a focus at the 1 minute mark on the camp. This is pretty much something you have to do, so camps are going to be jumped on both sides once that they are up. And outside of that, the teams are just going to try and push through the middle a little bit, maybe set a gank up if they can. But if both of them don't make any massive mistakes, and the first big fight is going to happen around level 7 when the shrines are being focused on, not the shrines but the prisoner camp are being focused on. But yeah, since it is pretty much only one camp that you have on the map for each team, disregarding the boss camps for just a second, These ones are super important. They're also quite strong, so taking them whenever they're up is really important. And teams are very diligent about it usually on this level of play. So, as it happens, at the bottom, Wit was actually in slight trouble. Honestly, if Garrosh comes in a bit quicker, then they could even get the kill against ETC. But yeah, he was underway, so good for ETC to move out there. ETC going to be played in the main tank position here, Leo as the offlaner. It's the beauty of drafting ETC early, that you can either run him as an offlaner or as a main tank, depending on the situation and what you want to do with that. At this point, we have topside, the Panda, doing his thing again, also. Down to the bottom, a little bit of ping-ping going on as Ultralisk finds himself in a bit of trouble, should be able to jump out here. Ultralisk. I love these mini jumps on Hanzo. We had a couple of those in Division 7. When stuff like that happens and you actually jump out in the wrong angle and your opponent just kills you, it makes you look so incredibly silly. It's kind of funny. In this case, it obviously didn't happen. I mean, he got out, he just got away. There was no problem there, but it was a bit reminiscent of what we had, I think, yesterday. And just gave me flashbacks straight. Anyways, at the bottom of the map, the camps are now being announced, but with level 4 talents in, we have the multi-shot build continuing. As already said, the focus is on the middle of the map. Teams are trying to see if maybe someone makes a bad rotation and they can grab him or something. But yeah, either way. Down to the bottom now, still a 2 versus 2 setup with the Burger, aka Backhole, and Skok doing their thing here. But as you can see, nobody's really giving a damn about those prisoner camps. And the reason is actually quite simple. You just want to get your level 7 first. If you try and go for the camp, your opponent soaks and then gets level 7 before you do, then you are in trouble, so nobody really wants to commit to that. That's one of the things that really distinguishes top level play from what you are seeing in Quick Match or in Storm League, because over there it's not only about all the camps, it's also always about let's go and fight on the objective right now. Side soaking, overrated. Experience, who needs it? Yeah, not needed there. Yeah, coordinated play is a very different beast. Very, very different. But anyways, as the teams are fighting for level 7 talents, we have again that little clash here in the middle with the two camps, of course. And so far, it seems like the red team is getting a bit of an advantageous position and could theoretically try and take that wall down, or at least drop the first tower. Gotta start somewhere, right? So with this, as our setup, down to the bottom, Dino and X-Ray already doing their thing, trying to poke away against Backhole in this case. Level 7 talents are in. A bit of a rotation down to the bottom, still in the hopes of isolating a hero and getting an early kill so that they can jump into the objective. But not yet. Oh, maybe? Nah, Gia gets out. But that was a clutch heal from Khaldor. If he doesn't drop the heal, then Vala is dead. Vala with the cowgirl setup in pink on the piggy bank. I love it. The money pig. Absolutely fantastic. Money, 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 baby. Oh, there's a good setup, and that's a kill. Garrosh down. First blood, ladies. Already taken here. The whip misses. Khaldor is a little bit too tame for that. Doesn't have a lot of experience with these things. So, there we go. Wit. Holding experience at the bottom. 4 seconds until Garrosh is back. They could actually win this one right now. They need another 15 seconds. Jaina is already sitting tight and saying like, yeah, well, not on my watch. Good luck with that. Jaina, if you get caught, then you're just wrecked, so careful. There's the drain already on her, got slowed down too. We have another 8 seconds missing, so there's a massive need for Feel the Heat now in the first objective. But of course, it's a winner takes all system, so that doesn't mean anything if you lose it at the end. Leo is just down. The thing with Leo in the early game is that the trade is just allowing you to come back in the fight and with a reduced death timer, so it's not really that impactful to take Leo down early on in the game. Experience for the two teams is still the same. And again, the importance of the camp. Dino is already fighting around it, as you can see now. And on the left side, we see the same thing happening. So, yep, camps. On this map, always take that camp when it's up. It is really powerful, and it should always be claimed as quickly as you can. So, now we have our setup, again, centered around the objective, but the teams are still trying to push. Camps are both taken, and now it starts to focus into the middle of the map again, where we have the camp, not claimed yet. Wit is already sitting tight. Okay, Dino, Max Passion, all of them. Just lolling around here a little bit. Down here, Burger and Gia are still focusing on lane 2. Boss is getting attacked, and that's something that has so far not really grabbed the attention of Feel the Heat. They haven't figured that out yet. If that boss gets taken, it's only 6 minutes in, so it's not going to be a disaster or anything, but it will give an advantage to the Vikings for sure. So not identifying that as a problem, that's actually an issue. They know it now, but it's already too late. So that was actually nicely done by the Vikings. It was a sneaky one. But the red team should have picked up on that a little bit quicker. Arrow! And there's the hit! Riptire! But Khaldor is still alive. Leo in range of the 2 towers. And that's a kill maybe? No. Jaina still alive as Oriel keeps them in play. Strafe has been used there too. Resurrect, by the way, the ult for Oriel. Seen a lot more Aegis lately again after the talent got nerfed, but Resurrect is still a viable option. And they are going through that bot lane right now. Damn, that wall is already open and taken apart. ETC is waiting for a mosh pit, but he already gets pinged like crazy, so they know exactly where he is. Slides through, gets flipped, gets taunted, and nearly killed, but Wit is alive. That fort at the bottom, on the other hand, might actually go down if that push continues. Well, Jaina with another Blizzard, but it's barely going to stay. So they can't destroy it yet, but that was a win. A big one for the Vikings. The Panda has decided to go into the top Keck place, by the way. We have him with a Wandering Keck again. Alright. And yeah, Ultralisk is jumping in. There's the slide. Burger Chia! Oh, the entire poke that we have with Hanzo and with Junkrat is just so annoying. And you can tell how Oriel has a lot of trouble in these fights to keep everybody alive and kicking. But it seems like the first objective is now going to be claimed by Feel the Heat after all. So they get their Raiders. The Raiders are going to make their way in, and that's of course a chance to take the first few structures down on the map. Let's see if they can actually make a bit of a play there. Because they still need to push that, and so far they have started to take a lot of losses on structures. This is already a good start. I mean, Blade already working at the bottom of the map before there's even any Raiders there. Khaldor double checking the bush. I like it, not face checking. Good. Good job. And now 3 heroes at the top, 2 at the bottom. So they're currently splitting very heavily here. But there's no one defending the top now. It's just 2 heroes in the middle. And they take that Raider down quickly, but that should put some serious damage onto that top fort. I mean, the wall is toast. Ooh, Vala taken down. That's bad. Bot lane Vala kill as Dino and Blade move in. Damn. Okay, that's problematic. That's really problematic. If Oriel dies too, that would be a total disaster. But the Resurrect brings Gia back, so now a chance. Khaldor is low. Dino caught on the wrong side, hopping out slowly. But that fort is still attacked. And over here, we still have a little bit of a drain. Vala is isolated. Sorry, Dino is isolated. Tries to get the kill, but can't. Khaldor makes it out. Vala, in the meantime, has taken the Raider apart. But topside Raider has dropped the fort. A top kick play by Max Passion as he's trying to isolate Wit, but with a power slide, ETC cannot be locked down. Or can he? There's a taunt after a flip, and maybe we're seeing Wit die. Oh! The mosh pit! You want to party, boys? Alright, it's time to party. Yeah, but he's still in trouble. Still in trouble. Could be whipped. Actually, they're gonna get the kill, aren't they? Look at the mad cow. It's actually dodging the whip too. I mean, he's gonna fall eventually. Or is he? Yeah, he's gonna die. Yeah, he's of course going to die. But he's really making them work for it. That's 3 heroes that have been chasing him now for nearly 30 seconds or so. So finally he falls, but that is a little bit annoying. Because while he was keeping everybody busy, the red team has simply taken their own camp. And that was quite the nice play. Well done. Yeah, so good job by him. But of course, now that 1 hero is down, the Vikings are simply looking at the map and saying, okay guys, what can we get? We have a 5 versus 4 on the map, let's get some value. And they decided to take the boss up at the top. So that's that. And at the bottom of the map, another fort has just now been destroyed, so that's 2 forts down. Not to be mixed up with 3 doors down, that's a bit of a different story. But with 2 forts down, the blue team has a definite disadvantage on the macro level now. There's the Resurrect on Garrosh as they got that kill. The boss actually helping out too. That's a nice setup here. The nano boost on Dino's Junkrat. Guys, they could steal that away. They should steal that away. They will most likely steal that away. Well, Leo's down. Can they go for the Burger Boy? Not quite. Max Passion. Yeah, they get 2 kills. Leo and ETC both dead. Dino also down. But the Panda is killed too. So now we have 1 against 3 trade and the boss. Great for the Vikings. Really good for them. That's a really, really nice setup, actually. That went way better for them than I thought, because after they got initially caught there, and the Panda already used the keg, I was a bit worried that they would lose out on the boss. But now they have an insane situation going for them. Not only did they kill 3 heroes, they had an experience, they have a boss pushing, which means they could theoretically try and take the fort at the top. Have a really good chance of making that happen, and they're also going for the objective at the same time. So I mean, there's like 3-4 things coming at the same time. 3-pronged attack, pretty much. So all of a sudden, Wit trying to defend here, trying to channel. Sliding in again. There's already Indomitable being used, but it's party time! Could be a trade though, needs to be careful. There's a flip against ETC, and both are down. 1-for-1 trade, but what an entomb! Not enough follow-up though, but a fantastic entomb. The Riptire came out shortly after. Resurrect is ready in a few more seconds. Might still use it here, to be honest. Normally you would wait, but in this setup, and you really want to push it, you have a chance. Talking about pushing it, bot lane gets pushed. Nice kill. Leo is now down too. 8 kills against 5. Vikings have really picked up a lot of momentum on the second map. They got bodied on the first one. They got annihilated on Battlefield of Eternity. I mean, again, they didn't get a single kill on that map. They got completely demolished. And now, game 2 was, I mean, a lot closer. But on the third map, they're pretty much continuing their trend. Now, they haven't really taken a massive lead or anything. And they've lost 2 forts, as I said. So lost out on the structures on the map. But they're fighting back into it. They're still able to maintain a lead in kills. They have with level 60 now also Frost Shot, which allows Gia for a bit more control in the team fights. And obviously a long distance poke on top of it, which is always kind of neat. But it is honestly a little bit incredible to think about how these fights are just going. Yeah, there's this time Hanzo gets the nano boost. Has to be quite careful here. Flip and nearly the kill. Ooh, ETC always playing it just on the verge of dying. As he should. Damage output 40,000 for Hanzo, 41,000 for Vala. Objective has taken by the blue team. Top fort has already fallen. Bottom fort is falling too. Vikings with the momentum. Yeah, the swinging momentum is here. And they're trying to go through the middle of the map now. But top and bot lane are still pushing, which is why the red team now has to spend some resources on those lanes. And they send a hero to each to defend it. Which means that they're lacking heroes to defend in the middle. It's a 5 versus 3 setup that they had for just a few moments. But there's still the wraparound as the blue team is looking for another opportunity to make a play here. 8 against 5, and well, let's go. Bot fort down, top fort down, only the one in the middle standing. Identical situation now on structures on the map. 17 against 17 as we have 14 minutes into the game. Yeah, and it's about the objectives again. We have one single boss at the bottom of the map, and everybody, as you can tell on the minimap, is already starting to move towards it. That's going to be the big spot to go for. And honestly, this game has a lot more dynamic than normal games on All Direct Pass, simply because the earlier boss was snuck in. Usually it's just like trades. One boss for a boss. That's what you oftentimes see here. But now they are very aggressive around the boss spots, since there's always only one of them up. And that makes the entire map a little bit more dynamic. There's a big wave pushing into the middle and dropping damage onto the blue team's fort, so that's already a plus. Arrow comes out, and ETC again with the mosh pit. There's the kill against Garrow. She's already dead, but gets resurrected. And Dainu still trying to get some damage in with the nano boost that he received from Ana, but the top kick play from Max Passion zoned the team out nicely. 5 versus 5 still, and boss is still up, and everybody is still looking at it, saying like, can we make a play here? Can we do something? Can I tell you one thing? This is going to hurt eventually. I mean, that is a big wave at the top of the map. Could become problematic, depending how things go here. But everybody's just dancing around the boss at the bottom of the map still. Ice Block has been available for Skog for some time now, so he at least has that. Whenever there's a big play from Feel the Heat, he can start to dodge out on some damage there. But now the objective is up to Gia, is a little bit low, needs to be careful with this Vala. X-Pash is looking for the opening, Burger is looking for the flip. Panda jumps in again. That is not a top keg play. That's a bottom keg play at best. I mean, he didn't really do anything with that. There's the Ice Block that I've been talking about. Might still be a kill, but nope. Backhult with a save. Yeah, gets the flip in on... Oh, the North American arrow right there. Narrowly missing the target. Yeah, still the lead for the red team, though, in experience, which is kind of interesting. If you think about it, it's kind of funny, because they are behind in kills, but they now get top lane value. Yeah, that keep is taking some serious damage now. Down towards the bottom of the map, or did we get there? Yeah, well, there's another big fight for it, and top lane is suffering. So the blue team is caught between a rock and a hard place a bit. They need to defend this, but at the same time they also have to take care of their top lane, because it is just losing HP. That keep is soon going to be up for grabs no matter who moves in. And he has level 20 any second now. So we are going to see that those Storm Talons coming in just a moment. And it couldn't be better timing for them. They go for the objective again, and you can already tell the blue team is just sitting there saying like, yeah... Maybe not. Maybe we just let this one slide. Now they have Cannonball, of course, buried alive, and you don't want to run into that. Bullseye for Hanzo. There is a top boss that they could try in theory to grab, so that's something that you could attempt to sneak in, but there's always a risk. More important for them is experience at the top lane as they push that out. If you can't take the objective, you at least want to have level 20 to defend against the objective, but they make the play. They go for the boss. And the only reason why there's nobody contesting the boss is because Feel the Heat said like, well, if you take the top, we take the bottom. So boss for each team. Fort in the middle is now also down. Objective is about to be claimed, or well, it is claimed. It's going to move through the map. And that is the mad push bot side. Because now you have a boss pushing, and you have the objective coming in, plus a big wave, and this has already taken damage. That's problematic. That's really problematic. So they should get at least one keep out of this, maybe a little bit more. But, well, let's have a look, see. What's the damage output, by the way? 55,000 and 58,000 on the two top damage dealers. Hanzo and Li Ming still. Vala. No Li Ming in this game. Yeah, well, yeah, keep is gone. I mean, keep's gone. Hashtag not even close. Yeah, the top, that's a bit of a different story. That boss, is he going to get the keep or not? That's the bigger question. Down here, though, they of course would love to make the play for the core now. The problem is always that the core actually regenerates hit points. So if you don't make it happen, then you're in trouble. That was a bit of a miss on that arrow. That was a short distance arrow that he actually just missed. So it seems like he watched a couple too many North America games. That's a kill against the Panda on the other hand. And guys, that should actually be... Oh, Leo down. Okay, there's a taunt. Garrosh makes it out. Resurrect is in. It's part... What was that? Deathmosh 2. It's a little bit of a weird party time, to be honest. That didn't really do a whole lot for them. But at least at the top, they're going to get keep number 2. Yeah, they're going to get this one as well. So off we go. 2 keeps down. That means that on the core, 2 of the armor shields are gone, which is super important. But I have bad news for fans of Feel the Heat too, because that boss at the top side, you know, the one that was a little bit forgotten, that was eliminated as well. Which means that 1 armor shield has been eliminated over here too. So we're now in a position where it's pretty much a 1 keep lead. Yeah, we're trying to steal the camp away here, since there's still 5 heroes on the map, but okay. So, only a 1 keep advantage. Still a very... I mean, I don't want to call it too even. There's still a fort in the middle of the map, but those are this late in the game usually up for grabs pretty easily, especially when you win a fight. But Feel the Heat isn't as far ahead as you might think. That was a good connect though. Nice job by Ultralisk, getting the stun in. Couldn't really follow up with a whole lot for it. But still, Max Passion is taking a bit of damage. The fort is now down. And of course those keep lanes keep pushing. The problem is really that on this map, when you don't have... Like, the big deal about catapults is that they're ranged. That's the big thing. And that's why they can easily win any map for you. And of course, normally when you look towards the core, those cores don't regenerate. So that makes Alterac Pass very unique. And it can be a big problem that even if the lanes are pushing against you, you oftentimes don't even have to fall back because the core is just doing all of that by itself. So even if you take a keep or 2 down, it doesn't necessarily mean that the macro pressure on the map is going to be what wins you the game. And Minion territory on this map kicks in very late. What's usually more important is that you open a lane up and then you can just simply go for the core later and remove those armor shields. That's actually something that on other maps would always have been kind of interesting too, not the self-regeneration of the core, but to have some kind of armor mechanic that is centered around keeps. It was something that was suggested to Blizzard ever since Alpha, by the way. So that you can't just lose the entire game and then in the late game you win a single team fight, go through a lane and take it down by only destroying 2 structures. That has happened a lot in the past. Blizzard was always very hesitant to implement anything like that. But it could increase the game length by 2 minutes. Wow. But anyways, talking about game length, right now we're 21 minutes in, and with the death of Leo, he's down for another 50 seconds. Max Passion has nearly fallen here, but he didn't die. And, well, there we go. Still no objective claimed. Yeah, I don't know. It was always a bit weird. Like, honestly, I really feel that generally speaking, Heroes games should be 2-3 minutes longer on average. Again, on average. Then you're still less than half the game length of League or Dota. That would have done the game a lot of good, especially on the competitive level, where we oftentimes had games that were like 10 minutes long or even shorter. I mean, it wasn't really uncommon to have a game happening where, for example, the draft was longer than the game. So having the average increase by like 2 or 3 minutes would have been a really good thing. And implementing things, there's a lot of stuff that you can do for that. Yeah, that fight, on the other hand, that was a clutch kick play again by the Panda. That could have been, honestly, a kill. Nice whip to interrupt the mosh pit. Okay, now another double stun. Oh, there's the taunt. And is that the kill? Yeah. ETC is down, but they still need to make sure that they're not losing out on the objective. And with now 5 versus 4 set up, that's actually a good step for them. In we go. Alrighty, so, yeah, not a crazy game for Ultralisk here. A lot of missed arrows, but they got the kill against Jaina anyway, so at least for now, it didn't matter. The turnaround against Leo is the thing, though. So, yeah, he died, came back, and died again. A little bit like what we're seeing here with all the resurrects on the other side. But it's getting dicey again. A keep is down on both sides. So if you get raiders, you can push for core. Talking about core, it's going to get pushed at the bottom of the map. But just look at this poke. I mean, holy shit, calm the fuck down. Especially Dino here. 93,000. Yeah, look at this. Grenades everywhere. Hanzo, Jaina. So she's dead. Hanzo with 93,000 damage. 83,000 by Vala. We have 82,000 for Junkrat, and it is nuts. Talking about nuts. Holy shit. What a push. Yeah, someone has to deal with that crap. But apparently it's going to be ETC's job. Good luck with that. Careful that that wave doesn't kill you. Talking about killing things, on the left side they're trying to kill Gia. Leo is right there. Objective has been taken by them, and oh boy. Yep, there's a kill against Garrosh, but also Leo is... Again, these trades are always nice. If you can trade Leo for another missed arrow, damn. And so, if you can trade Leo for another hero, that's pretty much always a win for you. Because, as I said, Leo spawns on point again, and he has reduced death timers through his trade. So, that's really good for you. If you can't... It's always the trade question. Can you get that counter kill in? This is bad, by the way. 4 versus 4, that boss should... I mean, this should be the end. This could easily be a lead for Feel the Heat now. They get the keep. If they poke any damage in with Dino, they get the kill on the last and final keep, which means that all of the armor shields are gone. And just look how quickly that thing is now starting to lose hit points. But they're not pushing for it. They're waiting for Leo now. Keep in mind that his Entomb is actually up, so he could go for the Buried Alive. And I'm a little bit flabbergasted as to why they're not going for it. What am I missing? I mean, he's a bit low in mana, that's true. I honestly expected them to at least try and get the Entomb out. Because the problem here is, why not? If he just drops the Entomb and he gets a good one, they get a kill. If he drops the Entomb and it doesn't work, they can still move away. Garrosh would have been dead for another 10 seconds. And the ult comes back in time for the next fight without any problem whatsoever. So it was a little bit weird that they actually did not try and do that. So now it's a 5 versus 5 on the map again. Objective is still up. And up at the top, let's see. Well, there, 14 kills against 10. Bosses are now, of course, going to become even more important. Yeah, talking about, like, minions, by the way. Now that there's no armor shields anymore, this is taking a lot of damage. Guys, if they just make a play and right-click that thing, it's over. I think we've seen a few of these in this game. Yeah, but over here, the Panda still gets locked down and eliminated. And they want to make the play for boss. So they're trying to play this as safe as they can and ensure that they get a guaranteed win here. Over here, okay, boss is obviously now got a core, is going to get his HP back. They're about to revive the Panda. And boss is not taken yet. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This could be a problem, ladies. And that is a problem. Yep, all of a sudden here comes the strafe. They're zoning them out hard, and they could steal the boss away. The Panda has his ult on a 2-second cooldown. ETC is dead. Big mosh, but the boss is taken. They stole the boss, but they get 1 kill. Do they get 2 kills? Someone kill Chen. And nobody kills Chen. They need to go for core now. And I don't think they can. I think they just lost the game. If they don't cross the map to raise, then they lost the game. 26 minutes in, the boss hurts. 2 armor shields or no 2 armor shields, I don't care. If you have ETC down for another 36 seconds and your opponent is moving in with the boss this late in the game, this is going to be pretty difficult to hold. So I would have loved for them to send a hero or 2 over to the left side. If they can get a kill, that's a nice arrow. Fantastic follow-up. And that's a Vala kill. Okay, they might not lose the core after all. That's exactly what they needed. That was a great kill here. Blade dies, then Blade dies, but still. They need to turn... yeah, they're going to defend. They're going to defend, and we have 2 big camps now pushing in. And again, that is going to hurt a lot. So can they cross the map maybe and make some... yeah, get some damage in here? That one is definitely over. I mean, this is not going to happen. 16 kills against 13. It's a really weird late game here now. It's a bit tricky. I mean, Feel the Heat, I think, could have won it already. But now they are in a spot where they still have to take care of their top lane. And I guess after we had the play up at the top boss, we're now going to copy the same thing down here at the bottom, right? Now, ETC has the mosh pit up. Leo is coming in and... okay, so they don't make the play just yet. They're still waiting for Vala. But the top cake play would have, of course, have been available for the Chen. But yeah, bottom boss is an issue. Now, them moving back is fine, but still, you have to at least stay in the vicinity. You have to have vision on your opponents. They know where Garrosh is. That's at least something. They know where Vala is. That's also important. And down at the bottom, they're starting to chase the Panda down. That would have been a mosh pit right there. Problem is that if you mosh and you get the kill, then Oriel just resurrects when the opponent goes for it. So, yeah. They need to win a fight. They need to get a kill or 2. But it's a very close game. Probably the closest game of this series that we had so far. And it's not going to be the last game, of course. Keep that in mind. This is the best of 5. At least we're going to get 1 more map after this one. Level 25. Nearly half an hour into the game here. And everybody is just looking for a lockdown. Some kind of lockdown is set up. Anything, honestly, at this point. Anything that they can get. Good Entomb. Maybe a good mosh. Well, wait. Death metal, of course, is another thing here. 120,000 damage by Nova Hanzo. 110,000 from Vala. Push in the middle. Not really all that dangerous just yet. They need a bit more. Top lane is building up massively, by the way. For Feel the Heat. They have a big one over there. Jaina actually fell back. She's defending now too. Yeah, now that we're 29 minutes in, these things of course start to hurt. So she needs to be a bit careful there as well. So they play it safe. They just drop 1 Blizzard and then they bring her back into the fight. Ah, okay. Could that be the Entomb? There's the Entomb. They're trying to go for him. They're trying to go for Garrosh, and it doesn't seem like they can get the kill. Nope. Kill isn't there. Blade is ghosting out. That wave is massive. That's a huge one. That's going to be problematic if the entire fight is centering about the bottom boss for another 30 seconds, then that top wave is going to be a mad, mad problem. Someone will have to fall back to deal with it. Oh, but the kill! Garrosh down, resurrect. Oh god, Ana died on the other side. Ana died. If they can't get another kill, that's a problem. Here's the Riptide attempt, but that's a 5 versus 4. Resurrect makes it happen. In comes the ETC kill. That's 2 heroes down. But look at the minimap. Junkrat is dead too. 3 heroes down. They can go for core, but look at the minimap, ladies. Look at this push. Look at the middle. There's another one. Jaina is trying to defend. Alright, so they got the Jaina defense. And they go for the objective. Objective is focused now. Jaina at the top. I mean, this is just insane. Just imagine Scott not being there. That would be that. Can they stay in the game a little bit longer? We're 30 minutes in. 31 minutes in nearly. Yeah, and there's the channel again on the objective. Jaina is dealing with the top. Over here, they're trying to lock Ultralisk down. Oh, the body entomb over the wall. Entombs like that are sexy as hell. It's just always a shame when they can't be followed up by anything. Those entombs deserve to be followed up with a kill. Yeah, 31 minutes in. Jaina on full-on defense mode, and for good reason. I mean, she basically turned both of those waves already to dust before all of it happened, and the boss still has taken 10-15% damage. Okay, so now Max Passion sitting on the objective as they're trying to claim it. There's still a fight at the bottom. It's a 5 versus 5 again, guys. We are back to 5 versus 5 territory. This boss isn't necessarily going to get taken. Now, the objective, on the other hand, is also not going to be taken. It seems like the Vikings are missing out on both. A little bit too greedy, baby. Should have made a decision, one or the other. So now, all of a sudden, they're incredibly close on winning the objective, but they haven't done it yet. And that gives Feel the Heat a chance to fight back. Yeah, too greedy. They wanted boss and they wanted the objective. Now they might not get either. There's the arrow again. Missing Anna, also dead. Oh, old granny just made it back into the game. Now she's dead again. Gia, on the other hand, gets attacked, and the waves are pushing against the Vikings core once more. Riptire kill. Mosh Pit isolating the Panda. 15 kills to 21. And the game is again all over the place. And the boss gets attacked. And guys, look at this. We are 32 minutes in. This is mad damage right now. This is insane damage. They might just lose it now. I mean, this is insanely close. That's 4,000 HP missing. Everybody's rushing back trying to go for it. And they barely save it on 3,000 HP. Just imagine that at any point someone of the red team moves over to the left side and drops the final few hit points. But the poke is still there. We are 33 minutes into this. 33 minutes into the game and it still isn't over. 3 heroes are dead on the side of Feel the Heat, but what is this game? Holy shit. I mean, seriously. There's the objective. It finally gets taken, and I gotta admit, I've never seen a 33-minute objective in a semi-competitive game here. So that's just nuts. But it surely has to be over now, right? I mean, I have trouble making any predictions here anymore, but this has to be it, right? 33 minutes in, and you get the cavalry, which is, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, the first objective that the Vikings actually win on this map. But that has to be it. This has to be game. You can't tell me that this is in any way something that they can defend. Bot lane, okay, here we go. Alright, I want to see these walls melt away against the cavalry. If that cavalry doesn't go through those keeps like hot butter through cheese, then I'm calling hacks. Well, look at these hits! 1 hit and half the HP of a tower is gone. Okay, yeah, if you don't take those down immediately, all of your keeps are gone. 1 keep down, 2 keeps down, the one in the middle is falling, and now without the armor or shields, it seems like the boss is gonna fall too. The Vikings, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like they're making it happen. Feel the Heat. They won the first map. They won Battlefield of Eternity. And now they just lost 2 in a row as the Vikings take the lead in the best of 5 series. GG and well played. Game number 4, ladies. Yeah, the Vikings are a bit in trouble. The momentum that they built in game number 1, you would have assumed that that carries a bit farther into this series. Nothing could be further from the truth. Right now, the Vikings have a 2-0 lead, and I feel really that game 3 could have been won by Feel the Heat. It honestly felt like the red team had a couple of opportunities to just go for the core and drop it after they eliminated all of the keeps, but as it happens, the blue team is now ahead and one map win away from deciding the grand final in their favor. On the left side, on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Khaldor, Gul'dan, Malfurion, Burger aka Berkult, on Johanna, Gian Greymin, Max Passion on UL, and Skok on Gul'dan. And on the right side, we have X-Ray on Ana, Ultralisk on Maiev, Wit on Tyrael, Dino on Jaina, and Rexa is played by Blade. Okay, so a bit of a Tyrael setup for them right now. Maiev is actually also kind of nasty. I mean, she's actually been banned out against the team quite a bit. Very different setup now. Triple frontline, Jaina for the damage. In the back, AoE of course reigning supreme here a lot, which is why not only Gul'dan but also Johanna are just incredibly strong heroes on this map. Okay, up towards the top. That's where we now have... I mean, it's usually like a mid lane, top lane rotation, right? And the solo lane is the bot lane, 1 versus 1. You have to be a bit careful once that the siege giants spawn. If a team rotates a hero or 2 to the bottom to take the siege giant camp. Outside of that, it's more so the bruiser camp that everybody focuses on. But of course, the red team has to dig deep now. Probably were pretty happy with the initial lead that they got, but now they are 1 loss away from losing out and only taking 2nd place in this. And since only the winner of the tournament qualifies, they need to take this. There's 4 qualifiers in total, 2 have already been played out at this point. And in this 3rd one here, we'll see one of those 2 teams advance. And who's it gonna be? That's the big question. There's another setup against Malfurion, and the old geezer nearly goes down. But they might have gone a little bit too deep for that kill, and Blade is in a world of pain. He's still making a lot of waves there, but he dies. It was kind of inevitable. He just went way too deep there. In the attempt to take Malfurion down, he exposed himself to quite a lot of damage and got dropped. So, unfortunate for him. Down towards the bottom of the map, Ultralisk is now sitting tight when waiting for a potential rotation. Yeah, people are starting to slide down, and here's also the aggression towards the Siege Giant camp that I talked about a little bit earlier. Yep. Yeah, Ultralisk can get a bit of damage in, but let's be honest, he can't really go into the 1 versus 2 and steal the camp away. That would have been a bit insane without having any real tools to help him with that. It was just, yeah, wishful thinking. Okay, so with 1 kill against 0, and also the earlier level 4, we still have 0. Absolutely no gems turned in yet. Neither one of the teams have made a play there. But of course the red team has lost a few, and they might lose Blade again. Gia, damn. He went deep for this one. Needs to make sure that he's actually getting out there. Max Passion is helping out a little bit. But Ultralisk is now coming in too in an attempt to get some damage done. Well, we're not quite there yet. There's a setup nearly against Urel, but they can't lock the kill in. So now they at least didn't lose any gems in the process. But a kill, of course, against Rexa would have been fantastic for them. There's still a lot of aggression in the middle of the map too. It's not only the bot lane that the teams are currently focusing on. In the middle, we still have our little setup here. Dino is actually the one that is the most in trouble, probably, if he gets locked down there. Gul'dan is stacking kinda okay now. 15 stacks for him at this point, as they're trying to make the play for the first wall. Blue team is very eager to already get that push going. Nobody has turned gems in yet, but you can also tell there's a slight lead actually now for the Vikings in how many gems they hold. So that's actually pretty impactful. Big push down towards the bottom of the map again, as they're starting to make their play here. Well, and let's see. Let's see if they can actually get the first Web Weaver wave. They got the wall. They also did damage in the middle. If the blue team now gets the first Web Weaver wave, they have quite a lot of potential for momentum. Because if you take those walls down early before you get those Web Weavers onto the map, then it pretty much just means that you have a direct shot to the fort. And once the forts are gone, it means the fountains are also eliminated, and that puts you then immediately into a spot where you can just like say, okay, this is going to be something where the team that we face off against has a huge trouble fighting us on the shrine because they don't have fountains anymore where they can just tap. Now we have 46 gems turned in already. Blade is still incredibly low and has a tough time coming out onto the lane in order to help the team out to fight here. Misha is the only one that gets sent towards the front, but yep, there's Max Passion jumping in, the Space Goat trying to get the kill. That gets actually pulled in by Ultralisk, because there's an immediate assistance, but they are just dropping in HP quickly, and with only 4 gems missing on the turn-in, the blue team is really threatening this now. Now we still have a couple of turn-ins also on the side of Feel the Heat. It's not like they're not able to get anything done, but still, there's obviously a huge difference between the two right now. There's already the attack up to the middle. So comes the little push here. Backhul jumping in, top side. Okay, Skog is starting to make a play too. Still 4 gems missing here. Lockdown against Ultralisk though. But he jumps out with the Vault of the Wardens. Nicely done. Dodging out on the Condemn. That was actually quite important. Bottom of the map. Alright, Blade sitting tight. They're trying to go for max passion, but still no turn-in. Guys, we're 5 minutes in. We're already on level 8. And we don't have a turn-in just yet. Normally we get that a little bit quicker. It's also about turn-in number 2. Because if you actually build some momentum with the second turn-in, that oftentimes happens around level 10. And then you have a good lead there. That's a nice lineup though. Or a nice trap. And Gul'dan is down. Not only does that eliminate gems. Or does it? Yeah, it does a few. I mean, Khaldor sneaks some back. But still, they lost a few gems. And the turn-in has now also come in, which means that initially at least they will push with only 4 heroes and not with 5. So that is going to reduce some of the aggression, but Gul'dan should be back very soon to at least help out with the push a little bit. And thanks to the walls on 2 lanes already being down, there should at least be 1 fort that gets now, if not eliminated, then at least incredibly damaged. Yeah, so they're starting to jump in on it, down through the bottom of the map, but the main aggression is in the middle. Yeah, mid lane is getting murdered very, very quickly. The wall falls within seconds, and if you look at the slight difference in experience, the early level 10 could make the difference here too for the Vikings if they pick the heroic abilities up, which is definitely a shot that they have. So already, bit of damage done over here. Bam, here we go. And now that everybody jumps topside, it's more pressure against the top fort. Doesn't really seem like one of the forts is going to fall here. Level 10 abilities are in. Maybe if they can get the kill now. But no, instead it's Greymane that dies. Whoa, nice pull. Ultralisk again. Taking, in this case, Greymane over. He had a bit of trouble connecting arrows on the last map, seriously. I mean, there was a lot of missed Hanzo ults, but in this game, he's starting to really make up for it. That was a great pull against Greymane, and it led to a kill just as level 10 gave the blue team a slight lead. They haven't lost the fort yet. They've taken a bit of a beating in the middle in the top lane, but they haven't lost one yet. 2 kills against 1. There's a setup again. A lot of mobility on this team, of course. You have Tyrael just jumping around the entire time, and then Ultralisk with Maiev is always following up on it. So here we go. Another setup. Jaina's still missing though. She's topside. But level 10 abilities now for both teams, as you can tell. On the damage side, we have 19,000 for Gul'dan, 15,000 for Jaina. And especially Gul'dan, of course, he's still working on his quest. He's at 27 stacks for his level 1. Once he at level 16, the Ruinous Affliction, you want to be done with that. But obviously as quickly as possible. And the 2 coming together just drop insane damage on targets. So that's something to watch out for. Camps again taken on both sides. Bruiser camps focused mostly. And still enough gems for pretty much both teams to turn in. The blue team is missing a few. Only 5 though, so that's pretty much a little bit more than a wave that you need. But if the red team can finally turn in here, it would be great for them. And they do! They turn in, so that's the comeback potential here for them. And oh, if they can get the kill... Nah, not quite. I mean, nothing is... No. Nothing is better than getting the Web Weavers and then an immediate kill afterwards. You just increase your pressure by so much. It's honestly crazy. The opponent has to be so careful. And in this map, on this map is always like a bit of a weird dynamic anyways. It's a dynamic that I like, but it's a little bit weird, right? Because if you hold a lot of gems, then on the one hand, you might be behind and you want to be aggressive and try and get some kills. But then again, if you expose your gem carriers too much and they die, then you lose all chances of coming back into the game. So since mostly the tanks have a lot of the gems, it's always a little bit weird to see that happen. Then you can already tell that's exactly what's going on here, to an extent at least, with Johanna sitting on 26 and Wit on 21. But now we have the Web Weavers on the map, and immediately there's the aggression that we've been talking about. So yep, they're going through the top lane now in an attempt to take at least the fountain down. In an ideal world, maybe do a little bit more than that even. But off we go. There's the hit against Gia, pull in, and yes! Maiev gets killed. The Sanctification is just a moment too late. Wit recovers the gems, so that's already half the battle. But Web Weavers at the bottom and the middle have already been defeated. And now we have 2 kills against 2. Yeah, this series is awesome, honestly. I mean, they're fighting for every single inch of the map. We've seen that on Alterac Pass, we've seen it pretty much on Infernal Shrines to a big extent, and now we have the same opening on Tomb of the Spider Queen. 2 kills against 2, level 12 for them, and yeah, it's getting a little bit bonkers here. I honestly like it. It's a really aggressive setup. And now also an attempt to go straight up for the Siege Giants to maybe even take the bottom fort down. This one... Yeah, the spiders! Look at it! Spider power! Getting the kill here. Nice for them. Max Passion is still trying to push the bot lane out, but of course he needs to be careful too. Urel, generally speaking, is kind of safe, but then you have stuns against you, you have Maiev against you, you need to be careful, especially of course with the water elemental here. But let's not forget that he went into Divine Steed on level 7 as well, so that always gives you a lot of safety. But here come the Web Weavers, and that's the second wave for the blue team. They had the gems and they turned them in, so now a good chance of actually taking every single fort on the map down. That could give them a massive momentum swing, especially if they can get Gia on the structures in Warden form with Greymane. That's of course another big tool to have. And yep, starting to move up to the top. Blade, careful, 38 gems, no! Uh-oh, that's a problem, and a big one at that. Blade down with 38 gems, that is a nightmare. That's an absolute nightmare. That hurt a lot. And now the boss gets attacked. 2 forts down, and boss is now getting attacked too, and they just lost a big amount of gems. Now, Sanctification is up, and they are actually willing to fight for this one, but oh boy, that is a commitment. That is them actually taking a big risk right now. Boss is nearly taken. And this could be a 3-1 victory for the Vikings if they play their cards right. But we have him jumping in a bit too late. Sanctification, the attempt was there. Kill against Jaina. Boss is in. It is getting really bad now. They lost the gems, they lost the forts, they lost the boss. Oh boy. Level behind, 2 kills behind Max Passion. Hello, sir. And, well, that was a good kill. Okay. They at least take 26, 28 gems away from the opponent, so that's a step into the right direction for sure. Boss is still early in the game, so it's not going to do too much here. Still a problem, don't get me wrong, but it could be way worse. If that was a late game boss, it would do way more damage than it actually does here. Bottom fort has now been eliminated too, which means that the red team doesn't have a single fort standing any longer, which also means there is no fountain anymore. But it could be worse. The situation could be worse. Taking Urel down was kind of important. They lost Blade, he had a huge amount of gems, but at least they get the counter kill against Urel. It's not quite an even trade, but at least it's them still holding on to that game for a bit longer. Wit, by the way, with the 41 gems really needs to turn in. I mean, really, he needs to turn in and try and get this done. And yeah, it would give him so much more safety also in all of the plays that he makes if he just had a chance to get the turn in here. But right now, 45 gems, and yes, he gets all of them. Perfect. That's great for him. Now he can be way more aggressive. And jumping in, that's the Horrify already. Vault of the Wardens, as we see Maiev jump out. They're still trying to go for Gia here, but it seems like the Water Elemental is not going to be able to get him. Yeah, Blade with the turn in, so that's 51 now. Out of the 55 that they need. 4 short. Ruinous Affliction, and now a completed Echoed Corruption for Gul'dan. I'm definitely going to help him with the damage output. He's currently sitting on 35,000. Chasing Jaina, who's on 38k. 16 versus 16 now. 4 kills against 3! Red team is still behind. I mean, they're fighting for it. You gotta give them that. They're not giving up. Neither should they. They, of course, want to qualify here. But, well, we'll see. Okay, Gia gets the camp at the bottom of the map. Turn-in attempts again, both sides. There's 39 gems in the hands of the Vikings. Not enough to get another Web Weaver wave. But at least if you turn them in, you know they're safe. So, there's that. Yep. Down here, Max Passion. He already died once. Greymane. He's coming in now too. G has 9 gems. It's all about the next fight pretty much right now. Ultralist, they're trying to go for him. Vault of the Wardens. Easy. Easy. Ultralist jumping out. No problem for him. Blade at the top. Yeah, Wit is also just moving around here. I mean, for them, of course, the engages have to be centered around a good Sanctification. If they don't, then they're going to be in trouble. A lot of damage from Gul'dan as he starts poking is always bad for them, since they need to heal all of that out before they can actually engage into a battle. Shouldn't really push the game out too long. I mean, boss is going to be up in, what, like a minute? Minute 40. Okay. Not enough gems for the blue team, which is important. It really is. Gia still turns in 9 gems, and you can't really allow that. If they get another Web Weaver wave, they will attack the keeps directly. And once the keeps are down, once catapults are pushing, you know that you're in trouble. God, the blue team is aggressive now. Ultralist jumps out, but oh boy, are they looking for that kill, don't they? Max Passion flanking in, Gia looking for the aggression. Oh, and they find it against Ana this time. Gems are lost, ladies. Ana down, and the gems actually lost. They still have more than enough to turn in, but they still lost gems. And now both teams can get a turn in again. And they're trying right here. Interrupt comes in through Wit. That's 6 gems. That would be enough to get another Web Weaver wave. And they make it happen. The blue team, it honestly feels the entire time, as much as the red team is fighting to hold a position in this, that they are on the back foot continuously. And it's, of course, a discrepancy in experience. I mean, we have level 19 against 18, roughly. But this is problematic. And if Wit dies now too, and he does, then they are in trouble. Oh boy. The pain train, ladies. The pain train is coming, and it's going to hit, and it's hitting hard. 6 kills against 3, nearly level 20. That's going to be a fantastic push. If they pick up the Storm Talent here to push, then it's going to be super problematic. Right now, there's the big move through the middle. Greymane is still at the bottom of the map. 20 talents are in. Okay, Haunt after Horrify. The Astral Communion. Seraphim. Hunter's Blunderbuss. And this is going to be at least 1 keep. At least. In theory, they could even take 2. Web Weaver is defeated at the bottom of the map. There's only the catapult left, but in the middle, they're going to lose it for sure. And now you have to soak 1.5 levels if you feel the heat, and you somehow have to also like get that turn in. And let's not forget, boss is actually going to be up now. Boss should be up by the time that the Web Weavers get defeated. Boss will be up, yeah, of course. So with level 20 talents, that's a fight that you can actually force if you want to. That's problematic. They even push a little bit more with the top boss. Not too much, but again, taking down the fort or the wall is of course great. And there we go. 20 talents, and they're like, hell yeah. Oh, of course. We can get just posture here, try and trap them, and if they don't come, we take them down. We have Greymane. We have the big bad wolf in our lineup. Wit is sniffing it out and says like, okay, let's have a look-see. They have Sanctification. They need to take that fight pretty much. Or do they? Dino tries to turn in, and he's gonna get that turn in, so they trade turn in for boss. That's a trade you can make. It's just, it buys you time. They trade turn in for boss. The Vikings will have to defeat the Web Weavers. Top keep shouldn't really fall. Might still. 17 minutes in, the boss is gonna hit hard. Could still fall. But they make the trade. They want to buy themselves time to get to level 20. And the Vikings are not willing to give them that time. They're trying to push regardless of the Web Weavers. So they're going to go in for that. Nano boost. Nice Iceberg. That was a good one. But Dino is still incredibly low. Sanctification for the turnaround at 10. Good job keeping Jaina alive. That was important. And the counter kill against Gul'dan. But the keep is down. Can they get more kills? That's the question. They need to chase a little bit. Or if they can, that would at least be nice. Boss is on the core. It's not going to do a lot of damage there. But if you lose 2 keeps, then you are in trouble. And you know that, of course. So they're starting to make the plays here. 32 gems on Ultralist. Keep that in mind. The Pew Pew from X-Ray keeps Maiev in play. Of course, the Web Weavers are now doing some damage too. That's the trade-off that the Vikings had to go for. They traded the top keep for damage on the forts, which is a really good trade, by the way. So yeah, you're going to take that any day of the week. Bot lane, can they maybe take this down? It's 20 versus 20. It's at least even talents again. But boy, is the red team in trouble. 48,000 damage on Gul'dan, 45,000 on Jaina. They have a 5 versus 4. If you don't push now, when you're going to push, they have the gems for another turn in. So they can get the second turn in a row now. They have a lot of gems throughout the entire game. But they still haven't taken a lot of structures down. They start to jump up to the top. 32 on Ultralisk alone. Yeah, that's a turn in. Nobody's trying to interrupt. Instead, we have Wit actually trying to zone out Gia so that the camp is not going to get attacked. But he keeps the aggro, wants to take it. That's going to be a fight at the bot lane if they don't pay attention. Nicely done. Good job by Gia. Comes back in, takes the camp, and now they have a good defense against the Web Weavers here. 19 minutes in. 19 minutes into the game already. Catapults are starting to really hurt, which means that the mid and the top lane are a big problem for Feel the Heat. Now the saving grace is that the bot lane still doesn't get pushed by catapults too hard, because once the next fight centers around the top boss again, if you have pressure on the bottom of the map, then you will have to split heroes off all the time to defend that lane, and that's a problem. Oh, the horn! Can he get the sack through? Yes! And Malfurion is dead. What a clutch setup. Unbelievable. Tyrael dies, but they still get the kill against Johanna, against Greymane, and against Gul'dan. What the fuck just happened? It looked like the Vikings gets the kill and then the free defense, and instead they lost 4 heroes. Guys, they're gonna lose the game. It's over. It's over. 8 kills against 8. Webweaver's in, 4 heroes down, and all of a sudden the entire mid lane is open. What the fuck? That's crazy. They get the one big team kill, and all of a sudden the entire game is turned upside down. They push through the middle. They see the opening. The blue team nearly gets the kill, but then they lose 4 heroes without... They only drop Tyrael, and that's game. We get game number 5. The Vikings against Feel the Heat. Feel the Heat victorious on Tomb of the Spider Queen to force the final map of the best of 5 series. Game number 5, the final map. The map that we deserve, the map that this series deserves. On the left side, oh, we have another Deathwing game. Yeah, Deathwing actually lost for the first time in the series. The question is, of course, did Deathwing lose or did Blade lose? We'll find out here. So, Skog on Falstad for the blue team, Gul'dan on Malfurion, Gia on Liming. We have Bakul on Garrosh again, and Max Passion on Yrel, the Space Goat. And on the right side, it honestly feels like this, on this series, Dino has a subscription on Greymane. Greymane, I think for the 3rd time in this series, played by him now. We have Blade on Deathwing for Feel the Heat, Wit on Tyrael, X-Ray on Ana, and Ultralisk on Jaina this time. Okay. At this point, let's have a bit of a look what's going on with this. We have Season Marksman on level 1, so it's an auto-attack build that we see for Falstad. On top of that, we're currently... I mean, in terms of builds, pretty much on the standard setup again. But with Falstad going into an auto-attack build, still Boomerang on 7, level 4 very likely going to be Hammer Gains. And it's going to change with Giant Killer on 13, and that's really where especially Deathwing is going to be the main target for Skog. But of course, for now, it's really just about him getting his stacks together on the baseline, trying to actually get that done. Wit is already sitting tight here against Skog, and this is always a bit of an interesting one. I mean, you can play Tyrael actually in an offlane position. We don't really see that much anymore. This time, by the way, not the Draconic Might, but Dragon Soul, and this route is what we usually see in the European scene when Deathwing ever is getting played. So, starting up with Dragon Soul, same pattern then on level 4, going into Skyfall again, and then shifting it on 13 and 16 as usual. But as it stands now, camps are taken, 1 minute into the game. Of course, you want to establish pressure with the Siege Giants on the map. Sometimes when you have the top tribute spawning, we see teams moving a little bit different, and this is one of the scenarios. So the reason what's happening here is they take their camp directly because the objective takes top lane, and their camp moves through the top. The red team, on the other hand, goes... Oh my god, nearly loses Ultralisk. But they go for their Bruiser camp first because they want to save this camp for later when the objective spawns, because they're trying to force a reaction out of the Vikings where they have to split their attention to the top for the objective fight and to the bottom to save the lane from the Siege Giants taking it down. Now, of course, as a bit of a caveat, someone just jumped over that wall. Yeah, good old Greymane stuff happening here. I would be pissed if I'm Dino at this point. Yeah, sometimes what you... like, in this case, it's not really a big deal with the Siege Giants, at least it shouldn't be, for a simple reason. We have Falstad as a global hero on the map, so he can hold the lane against the Siege Giants, and then, if need be, if they decide to play it that way, still fly towards the top to try and make the play there. So that's still possible. As you can already see right here, we have Heatwave coming in. And yep, there we go. Gulnar is already together with the rest of the team taking their bruiser camp as they are starting to push this out. I have top side now, the tribute also spawning, which is exactly why on the red team side X-Ray is currently waiting for the camp right here. Gets it, pretty easily scaled, and so far so good. Up to the top, Max Passion is still fighting it out with Deathwing. Of course, also has his global ambitions. 8 stacks so far on level 1 for Falstad. So he gets some auto attack damage in, but still has a long way to go to get anything serious here on the board. And Hammer gains on level 4, as already expected. For Li Ming, by the way, no Op Talent on level 4. Instead, we have Dominance, so focusing more on the team fight value. Yeah, Max Passion, talking about value, the Space Goat is about to go down. And they're getting this one. And, as you can tell, this is exactly the scenario that I highlighted earlier. You get the Siege Giants, they push as the objective is up, Falstad stays at the bottom of the map, decided to not fly top, they give the first one up, it's not a problem, they have the early level 7 because they could push down here a bit, one tower goes down as a result. So yeah, a little bit more flexible when you have these setups, especially in the early game. And then also later when all the forts are eliminated, because it gives you more space on the map to work on. Okay, so with this currently, we have, first of all, as level 7 talent, as usual, Boomerang already in play. So that's already here. On top of that, Skyfall is in, and Swift Retribution. Divine Steed as the level 7 talent for Urel is also getting picked again. Makes him nearly ungankable. It's really difficult to gank Urel if Divine Steed is picked on level 7. It just allows you to go so much deeper on any lane without really risking death. And you can, of course, also then transition between lanes much quicker. But with the next tribute now spawning, we have 2 of the global heroes down at the bottom of the map. So Falstad going up against Deathwing. Still a fantastic skin for Blade. I like that skin. I like that tint. Plucked Chicken, not really. The black one is good too, but the white one is just like, eh. Ultralisk over here. Yeah, gets zoned out. Malfurion, of course, great with the root in those choke point positions here. But they're still bullying their way through. Li Ming trying to capitalize on the combo, but doesn't hit it completely. But they're zoning them a bit away. There's a slightly inexperience for the Vikings. It comes down to 1 map now. We had an insane best of 5. It's pretty crazy. But here we go. Off we go for the next fight and potential kill. And Backhult is dead. Backhult down. Dino at the top is trying to go after Max Passion. The wolf wants the goat. Who would have thought? And it seems like this is going to happen. Wit is moving in with the rest of the team. It's a 4-1. They really, really want that kill and they get it. That's kill number 2. Nicely done. And that, of course, gives them the objective, or at least the tribute. We're not in cursed territory yet. The immediate result is that the red team says, hey boys, let's go for boss. And as a result, the blue team says, guys, of course they take boss right now. So let's not get duped here. We go for the boss ourselves so that we have one pushing on each lane. And that is the correct decision to be made by the Vikings here. It's exactly what they need to do. They need to make sure that they get a boss as a result too, just so they don't lose control over the macro aspects of this game. So boss on each side is now pushing. Tribute, 2 tributes against 0, thanks to the move that we've seen topside from the red team, and now they have the early level 10. Doesn't give them a lot, since level 10 is also now available for the Vikings, but it's really an even game right now. 2 kills against 1, not really a big lead for any team. Both, of course, are going to be eager to try and take the bosses down as quickly as they can. If you let these bosses roam too much, then later on in the game it's going to become incredibly problematic when your keeps are attacked, when your core is open. But this series, I love that the 5th game starts actually exactly like we need to. It would have been a huge disappointment if this would have been like some kind of, I don't know, stop or something. It might still get a bit snowbally, but at least up to this point, they are very, very diligent. Just about their Heroes of the Storm ABCs here, and very, very cautious. This tribute is a bit of a weird one for Feel the Heat. It's a little bit farther towards the left side. It's a much better position for the Vikings, just on where it's placed. But of course, if they can grab it, then it would be a curse. Top side is also where the Siege Giants are now pushing through, which puts us into the same scenario that I highlighted earlier. If you can make it happen, that you let one lane push with Siege Giants. While this happens, then you're in a great spot. Ultralisk gets currently attacked. Siege Giants also at the bottom of the map, but they are easily dealt with, and they're of course much closer to the Tribute spawn. Whereas the longer this lasts, the more value the top Siege Giants are gonna get. So the blue team will walk away with quite a bit of damage to those towers. Half the wall is already down and could theoretically even damage the fort itself. Even though we're still early in the game. 20 stacks for False Death. They're moving in. Sanctification. Deathwing coming in now too. Skog from the side with a boomerang attempt. Bit of a flip. Max Passion gets saved by the bird. Nice Mighty Gust. Ultralisk with an nano boost is trying to take somebody down. But the problem is he was already zoned quite a lot. Now everybody on the red team side is absolutely pushed towards the left side. Yeah, but they still get Garrosh. Kill. Can they follow up with a second? Yes, they can. And they get a triple kill out of it even. And there's the quad kill. Holy moly. I was worried for them. I'm gonna be super honest here because they were on half HP and they were completely between a rock and a hard place. But then initiating the kill against Garrosh gave them the momentum they needed. Now they have the camp and they have the curse, and they can immediately go now for the walls at the keep. With the camp in particular, Urel is moving topside. Over here, of course, the Siege Giants are going to fall, but you want to do some serious damage on the structures now. At the bottom of the map, the fort is also taking damage already as the minion waves are pushing in, and this is going to be pretty fantastic. Topside as well, that's where we have Max Passion getting at least some experience for them. Everybody else is pushing down to the bottom of the map. They've already eliminated the fort in the middle, and now they're starting to jump in straight away with a bit of an attempt to maybe get more than only the fort. Not quite. A slight adjustment again, by the way, from Deathwing, going to Ruination here. Same time now, though, with the curse still active for another 19 seconds, the opportunity to break the bottom gate. And since they push the entire fight towards the bottom of the map, it means that the top is pushing on its own, and that's that. So an easy elimination on another fort. So all of the forts are down. In experience, they have taken now a 1-level lead. It's 6 kills against 1 in total, and they have level 13 talents, as do the Vikings. They just got theirs. So that gives us also Giant Killer, which should actually increase the damage output on Falstad in particular by quite a bit, since he's now in a position where he can do more percentage damage against Deathwing. And since to the high hit point pool, that is going to matter a lot. 25,000 damage for Greymane. 10,000 only for Falstad. Look at the damage difference that we have between the two teams. 10,000 also for Li Ming. Didn't get a lot connected there. Still early in the game though. 10 minutes in. Max Passion jumping out. Deathwing comes in. Blade. He's setting the kill up, but the ult gets used on Urel, but she is still down. Deathwing gets the kill, flies in, and it seems like Garrosh is also going to get dropped. Garrosh down, 8 kills against 1. Guys, we have a momentum train right now. All of a sudden, Feel the Heat is just barreling through that middle of the map in an attempt to take the keep down early on in the game. And they are just doing fantastic here. The last 2 fights were insane from their perspective. And now they're just using exactly that momentum that we've seen on the first map when they played on Battlefield of Eternity against the Vikings. Nicely done. Well played thus far. And of course now a chance to go for level 16. And maybe even make another boss happen topside. Boss has just respawned. Is now available at bottom of the map and up at the top. They take the Bruiser camp first. But this is a really good setup for them now. Having a 2-level lead nearly over your opponent is already great. Looking at the talent advantage is of course giving you the additional boost. And that's an easy boss topside. Whereas at the bottom of the map, the Vikings are focusing on their own. So we're going for the trade on the boss again. Deathwing is already sitting down here, more or less in anticipation. Has actually just started to jump out. Boss claimed. Bottom and top. Tribute, that's a freebie. Seconds in. I love how Anna just pews away there slightly. But that is another keep that gets attacked. Now, Li Ming wants to try and get as much damage through the bottom of the map as they possibly can. But let's see how deep Feel the Heat pushes this, because they have that level 16 talent advantage, so they could actually go with all 5 towards the top of the map and try and use that pressure with the catapults to drop the opponent. And they're getting Siege Giants on top of it too. They're trying to get the second keep now. And they have a realistic chance of pulling that off. They have 16 talents, they have a 1-level lead, they have a boss pushing, catapults coming, big minion wave 2, and Siege Giants. It doesn't really get much better than that. They are looking really good here. So as they're starting to jump in, 8 kills against 1, 16 against 15, and I don't know what to say. That keep is down. Bottom of the map gets still pressured, of course, too, as the blue team's boss is doing some work here, but I highly doubt that it's going to be able to move through the entire keep. Keep is down, and that's the second one, and that takes a lot of the macro play away from the blue team, and they might even lose the game here if they don't. Oh, Garrosh! Garrosh down, Sanctification already used, and guys, it seems like Feel the Heat actually makes it happen. They won the first map, then they lost 2 in a row. They came back on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and now they dropped the Vikings on Cursed Hollow. Feel the Heat crowns themselves the champions of the qualifier as they take down the Vikings with a 3-2 victory in this best of 5 series. GG, and well played.
Hey everybody, thank you very much for watching the video today. I hope that you guys had some fun with the coverage here. If you want to support me and my work, you can do so now for absolutely free, thanks to a continued partnership with Ray throughout the entire month of March. And I would really appreciate if you could just take a couple of minutes, jump down in the YouTube description, check the link out, download the game, and play through the 20-second tutorial that ends with the dragon fight. And if you do that, you support me directly, it would help me a lot, and I would really appreciate if you could take a few minutes to do that and support the channel here. Either way, I hope that you guys had a good day today, and see you guys soon on the channel here with more esports coverage on KhaldorTV. Bye bye.